Welcome to Open-Minded Healing, where the topic is alternative health. We will be having conversations with the practitioners that offer a variety of alternative healing modalities, as well as everyday people who have recovered their health outside of the MD's office. Join us with an open mind for conversations that may provide solutions to healing your own body on a mental, physical, and spiritual level. I'm Marla Miller. Let's begin.
Hi, everyone. My guest today is Judith Joy. Judith is an author, transformational teacher, inspirational speaker, dream creation coach, and healer. Judith began studying energy healing and consciousness transformation after her own experience with recurring debilitating headaches. Judith's journey has led her to 20 years of study and research of how the heart and mind work together. She teaches you how to create by raising your vibe to make the life you want by getting you unstuck. Her mission is to help people manifest their dreams and shift their energy to create the life they choose. So, hi, Judith. Welcome to the show.
Marla.
I would like to get into the beginning of your journey, maybe into the world of alternative health. So maybe if you want to begin during your marriage when you started getting debilitating headaches, if you want to start from that point.
Yes. When I first got married the first time, my then husband said, "Do you realize you have headaches every day?" And I didn't realize it. And then I looked back and I'm like, oh, well, I've had them probably since I was 11, 12, 13, something like that. But it was normal for me. Some were horrible, some were, just a headache. But once you get used to having a low-grade headache all the time, it becomes normal.
Yeah, that's so interesting.
Yeah, you just get used to it. So actually, my dad's wedding present to me was a 1-year warranty. Anything for health for 1 year. So we went up to Mayo Clinic and they said, "You have headaches, take Excedrin." And then went to Diamond Headache Clinic and they said, "Here, have some drugs."
So I have to go back to that. So at Mayo Clinic, you went in, you said you had a headache, and did they run any tests?
They ran some tests, but at the time they didn't know the mind-body connection.
So if it wasn't something they could physically see, you mean on a test, they weren't going further?
Right. The problem was that by saying that I should do Excedrin, they were going to create rebound headaches. And I knew that already because with Excedrin, it has caffeine in it. And a rebound headache, your body gets used to a certain level of something, and then you stop taking it. Then your body says, "Wait a minute, I want that. In order to get it, I have to give the headache." So it gives you another headache so that you have to take it.
Interesting. I've never heard that side of things.
So I didn't do that route.
Yeah. So then you said the second place you went was where?
Diamond Headache Clinic, and they wanted to give me some drugs.
So what were the type of drugs?
I don't know. We're talking 30 plus years ago.
Yeah. Okay.
I don't keep it front and center.
Yeah, I know. Unless you keep a journal. Yeah, you would never remember things. I know how that is. So after you go there, you try those drugs, that doesn't work. And then what's the next step?
I go to a Catholic hospital in Indiana, and they said, "Put your husband before yourself." And I'm like, okay, I'm out.
3 very different takes on a serious headache.
Yes.
So, all right. So they tell you put your husband before yourself. And
all of this took a couple of years. It wasn't like it was all right in a row.
Right.
Interestingly, the first year that I was married, I was also pregnant. And with my first pregnancy, I didn't have any headaches.
Oh.
And so I was like, yes, this is so nice. And I could look forward to more pregnancies, and it didn't work that way.
So you had more children after that, you mean?
Yeah, I've got 4 children.
And you still had the headaches throughout those pregnancies. Yeah. So now what are you thinking?
I was a dancer. And so the ladies in my dance class were saying, "Hey, there's this chiropractor who's really good." So I would go to dance class, and then I'd go to the chiropractor, and he'd put me back together. And then he was sharing an office with another chiropractor. And I kept saying, "Hey, what's going on over there?" And eventually I made an appointment, and that chiropractor said, there's this doctor in the back room. I don't know what he's doing, but people are getting better.
Oh.
And I'm like, okay, let's try. So I go to see him. It's Dr. Ron Janer. 22 years later, I'm still working with him, but more as a colleague now. I would ask him questions as I'm laying on the table, and he's like messing up my hair and tapping and doing all sorts of energy stuff. And I'm like, what are you doing? Why are you doing that? And how's this? And how's that? And he would answer my questions, and he would say, go talk to this person, read this article, read this book, watch this video. And I became fascinated over time with the mind-body connection. And so every time I got fascinated with something, I would like dive in and learn more about it.
Yeah.
And then I'd get fascinated by something else and then dive in and learn more about it. So while I was talking with him, after a while, like a couple years, I think, he said, well, I've taken you as far as I can go, because his education was limited at the time. And he's since learned like a ton more stuff. But there's this lady in California who talks to angels. And I've heard that she's good. Do you want to go? And I'm like, yeah, let's go. So we flew out to California. I'm laying on her table face down. Dr. Janer's at my head, and Anamika, the angel lady, was on my right. And she said, to get rid of your headaches, you need to get rid of your husband. What? Granted, from the beginning of the marriage to this point, it was 20 years. Yeah. So I've been trying. I tried acupuncture. I tried chiropractic. I tried supplements. I tried dental stuff, for TMJ. I've tried Chinese medicine. I've tried anything and everything that I could ever think of. Meditation, Qigong, more stuff. I can't even think of it right now. And what was interesting was that as long as I had the daily headaches, I just adjusted to it. But when I started to feel better, then I had a day, 2 days, maybe a week without a headache. It was always so disappointing when that headache came back, because I'm like, oh, I thought we had it this time. But what I've since learned is that the body runs on patterns and habits. So my body had the habit of having a headache. It knew the pattern of having a headache. It was unfamiliar with not having a headache. So just like with the rebound, my body would have said, hey, I need more caffeine. Let's get more Excedrin. The body isn't used to it. So it'll go, oh, it's not safe over here. It's safe if I have headaches. So it'll give me another headache.
Wow. Well, that's a big revelation.
Yeah, it's huge.
So what did you do with that information? She says to get rid of your husband. First of all, I'm taking it she means just separate from it.
Yeah, she doesn't mean to offer her anything.
So after you met with her and you contemplate that session.
Well, that was in February. And then I came home and it was Valentine's Day. And we went out to dinner with my sister and her husband. And I'm standing in front of the fountain at the Ritz-Carlton, and it's really nice and, all this. And my sister's taking our picture, and she tells me to tell him, just before she takes the picture, to tell him that I'm wearing a thong. I'm like, okay. Because, I'm trying to spice up the marriage.
Right.
Yeah, I don't want to let it go.
Right.
We've got 20 years into this. We've got 4 kids. Let's pull out all the stops and anything that we can get working.
Yeah.
And so I whisper to him, I'm wearing a thong. And he says, oh, is that why you're walking so funny?
Yeah, not the response you're looking for. Oh,
so I was
that would be a letdown to hear that.
Yeah. Well, in the process, my third child was 13, and she was in a treatment center for depression and anxiety. So she was away from us so I could actually look and see what our marriage was.
Yeah.
But at 3 years old, she started asking me if we were getting divorced.
Oh.
So she kept thinking that we were lying to her because she knew the truth.
So you're saying she knew the truth before you knew the truth?
Oh, yes. Yes.
That's fascinating.
So while she was away, part of her therapy was family therapy. So we had family therapy in April, And I said, if things don't turn around, we're headed for a divorce. And I said this in family therapy, and he did nothing. And then he used to travel all the time. And July 4th, he didn't make it home from China. For whatever reason, he didn't make it back. So it was 4th of July, and my youngest was, I think, 7 at the time. And he said, Dad has gone so much, it's just like he's dead. Okay, so that was very impactful.
Yeah.
And all this time, I'm still having headaches. Then in September, we talked to Anamika, and my then husband agreed to do counseling with her because she was a therapist also. And his job was to hold my hand. My job was to say, I love you. And neither one of us could do it.
That's telling, huh?
Yeah. So then when we were talking to her, she says, do either of you really think you can change? And we said, no. And we decided that we were going to separate, and we hugged and we cried together. And, we even had a trip planned, and we went on the trip. But all of this was still with headaches. So then he moved out around Thanksgiving.
And then what happened?
Then I found out more things that, I'm not going to talk about, but it was an interesting journey. I just kept focusing on me, and I kept focusing on me, and I kept focusing on me. And gradually the headaches got less and less. Granted, they got less before I got divorced, and before we even separated, but I'm going for like the gold. I want like a great life. Now, during the time that I was either separated or just before that, I just made a comment, and I'm like, my next husband is going to be a chiropractor because I know that chiropractic takes care of a lot of the headaches. So, skipping over a lot of years, I met my next husband, and he is a chiropractor.
Oh my gosh, that's fantastic. So has he helped make your headaches go away?
He gets frustrated because I still get headaches, but a lot of headaches he can help me with.
So from the time you were younger, you were just so used to having those headaches, to the time you were married and your husband at the time pointed out that you actually had headaches, the frequency of headaches has continued to go down. Was that since the woman who spoke to angels brought that to your attention, or when did they start decreasing?
They probably started decreasing as soon as I started chiropractic and acupuncture and stuff like that.
Yeah.
Way before the divorce. But I want to get to it where I either don't get a headache or I can take care of it on my own. Because now I'm so good that I had a thought. Someone told me that bananas are going to give me headaches. Boom, I got a headache. I'm like, wait a minute. That was a thought. If I can think it in, I can think it out. And for 20 minutes, I played with the energy, and then I was feeling fine.
So what did you learn? You said that you really got into the mind-body connection. What did you learn? What are some of the biggest revelations that you had while studying that?
Oh, there's so many of them. Your thoughts have an energy. Your feelings have an energy. They are all vibrating. And the thing is that your body doesn't know the difference between what's right now, what's past, and what's future. And when you have a thought and it goes left, and you have a feeling and it goes right, the feeling always wins. And that's why a lot of people have trouble with affirmations, because you're telling yourself, I feel great. I feel great. And you've got this little guy in your shoulder going, no, you don't. It hurts. You've had this headache for 4 days. You've had this headache for a month. It hurts. So no matter how many times you tell yourself, I feel great, it's not going to do anything, because in your heart, you're in pain.
Yeah. So you can't just have the words, but your emotion has to match.
Oh, it has to be so strong inside of you. And one of the things that I like to do is find the space. In matrix energetics, they call it windows. It's a way to do energy like Reiki, but it's matrix energetics. I like to look at it as magic doors in a game show. Last night, I got a call that somebody that I was with had gotten COVID. So today, I'm like, magic doors, which magic door am I super healthy? And I go, yeah, that one over there. And where's that test going to be negative? Over there. And I just keep picking the doors. And I just feel this expansiveness. And then when I get to the point of, and it just sort of slides in, Then I went for my test and I was fine.
Oh, you were saying your friend had COVID, so you thought maybe you had gotten it from them. Oh, yeah.
Before I went in for the test, I made sure that I was emotionally good, because I could have gone in with, oh no, which is very low vibration. And it actually lowers your immune system when you have a low vibration.
So how do you help people raise their vibration?
This is so much fun. First, you have to understand that low vibes are the anxiety, depression, grief, shame and blame, and everybody else is wrong type thing. And a lot of people right now are down there. Then you move up the scale a little bit and you've got anger and pride. And anger does not feel good. But guess what? You have more energy available to you. When you're depressed, you can't get off the couch. You can't create anything. You can't even make dinner. When you're angry, things get done. You move up from there to pride and even more gets done. You have a little bit more energy to get stuff done. And that's where the military is a lot. You move up from there to where you take responsibility for everything in your life. And this is the tipping point. You take responsibility. Like if I had gotten COVID, I would have taken responsibility that it was my choice to go to the wedding.
Yeah.
It was outside, but it was still my choice to go. It was my choice to hug this person. It was my choice, whatever my contribution was to it.
Right.
Then you start with compassion, kindness, gratitude, love, peace, joy, calm, all of these yummy feelings. When you are feeling that, then life has so many ease moments, not easy, but ease. For example, you've got all this energy available and you can literally have a thought, spin it out into the world and have it happen. For example, I was at a meeting and the meeting was going on and on and on and on and on. And I'm like, I am so done with this. And I just I made a little energy ball of I am done, put it in my hand under the table and spun it out. Within 30 seconds, the guy who was talking said, "Oh, I think I'm done." And I'm like, okay.
With a little gleam in your eye. Yeah.
A little bit. So while the headaches were not comfortable to live through, and I would have enjoyed a light tap on the shoulder from the universe to going, yeah, you really need to learn this stuff. They did lead me to learning about how to use energy and how to create a life that works for me.
So you learned about all of that at what point with the headaches?
Right from the beginning, I started learning. Dr. Janer kept saying, well, read this, read that, read this, read that, watch this. The bookcase behind me is just a really small bookcase compared to what I have.
So all those videos, books, everything he referred you to, all had to do with the mind-body connection.
Yeah, different parts of it. And the first book that he told me to read was Power versus Force. And it was so dense. There was so much information in it. And then 2 years later, I read it again. And I'm like, oh, well, I know this and I know this and I know this. So it was really good. Yeah. And I found some great teachers along the way. Dr. Richard Bartlett from Matrix Energetics, Dane Heer from Access Consciousness, Dr. Caldwell from Instinct-Based Medicine System, Dr. Hector Garcia from Garcia Energetics, Chun-Yi Lin from Spring Forest Qigong. Off the top of my head, that's what I can think of. There's more. But I just keep taking all these different classes because after a while, you hear the same thing, but you go to the class going, oh, I just need that one little bit more.
Yeah.
What's that next little bit going to be?
Well, that is very interesting. So how do you help people today?
I'm really good at taking out other people's headaches. I'm really good at it. I help people now through coaching, through writing, through teaching workshops, through speaking, and through energy healing.
So can you give an example of a client that came in and you helped them through energy healing? Okay.
It does not matter distance. If the person's in front of me, they might feel more, but the actual energy that's happening is the same as if they're 2,000 miles away.
Okay. Yeah.
In fact, I had a client in Holland and I blew her lights out in her house.
What? How did that happen? I
have
want to
no
hear
idea.
that story.
I have no idea how it happened, but we were working on her stuff. But let's say someone comes to me and they're like, I have a headache. So I'm like, what is it that you would like to create? Because if you want to create not having a headache, you have the word not in there. And the universe doesn't recognize the word not. So you take that out of the sentence, you're saying, I want a headache. I do want a headache instead of I do not want a headache. So what is it that you would actually like to create? I would like to feel better right now. I would like to create this massive tower of whatever, but my headaches are getting in the way. You know, it all depends on what it is that you want. And I would help them. Do you have any problems?
Let's see. Sometimes my feet swell.
Okay, let's work with your feet then.
All right.
What is it that you would like to create?
A vibrant body, able to run around and enjoy life fully.
Okay, great. So from that, let's find a door that has a vibrant body. You've got 3 doors in front of you. Door number 1, door number 2, door number 3. Which one has the vibrant body?
3.
In which one are you running around?
3.
Okay. And which one are you really, really happy?
Is it supposed to be the same?
Your intuition. Because if you're doing it intellectually with your thoughts, it's not going to work.
I was going to say 1 for that last question. But
okay, great. So there would be an example where you've got 3, 3, 1. So let's take 3, 3, 1, combine it together, mush it up, rub it over you. And this sounds like so bizarre. But the reason that this is working is because I've raised my vibe so high that I think it and it happens. So we bring this into you. And then let's pay attention to what's happening in your body. Don't focus just on your feet. Think of your whole entire body. Think of your universe, your home. Feel what's going on. Do you feel any shift at all? Anything different?
Just a little excitement and then a little elevation.
Okay, good. That's a change. Change is great. So let's take that excitement and the elevation and put some gratitude in about that. What are you really excited about? And what are you grateful for?
I'm excited about getting out in the world on my travels. Grateful for all the friends and family around me and my health. And just opportunities, the ability to do these things on my own, the ability to travel, to have connections with people, and to spread information about health and healing, and maybe about the day I get a dog.
Oh,
that just popped into my head. But
I love when those things happen, when things pop in. So let's play with the dog a little bit. What does that feel like when you have a dog?
Just so much love, and just they bring me joy when I had dogs in the past. Just companionship, and they're just such a sweet energy, I guess.
Okay. Now, what is it about dogs and walking that you're afraid of right now?
That they require a lot of walking. Mm-hmm. They definitely require a lot of care. And I'm going off on a road trip, so I don't know that would fit the lifestyle at the moment.
Okay. So let's pretend there's a dog and you've got this dog in your life. I would like you to place both of your hands palms up.
Okay.
In one hand, you've got your dog and you're playing with it and you're running around and you're having a really good time and you're walking the dog and you're meeting people. And it doesn't matter if you're on the road trip or not. This dog is an asset to you and he's great and he's wonderful, or she. In the other hand, I would like you to put your feet are swollen and they hurt. And you can't put your shoes on because they hurt. And you can feel a throb and you can feel the pain. Which hand feels heavier?
The right one.
Okay.
The one in pain.
Okay. So now we're going to go for neutrality. All of the energy that is in that right hand, pour into the left hand. And then all the energy that's in the left hand, you pour into the right hand. Now you go back and forth on this. And you go back and forth, keep going. The first time I learned this, I was on Dr. Jainer's table for 45 minutes. He'd pop his head in and go, nope, you're not there yet. And now I can do it in, a couple seconds. It's practice. You get good with something.
Yeah.
Keep going back and forth. And I'm going to boost you a little bit, make it a little faster. Okay. Now put your palms up again. What's different?
But they both feel similar.
Right. That's called neutral. When you are neutral, you do not have anything pushing you or pulling you. You don't have an attraction to something like, oh, I need that, or I don't ever want that. And you're pushing it away. You're just neutral. It's okay if it happens. It's okay if it doesn't happen. Now go back to thinking about that dog.
Yeah.
The dog is with you. You're having fun. You're meeting people. What does that feel like now compared to before?
Well, it's just a reminder, to just go with things sometimes, not overanalyze it so much.
Right. So there, you've just given me a clue. You've said not to go with things and not overanalyze it. The clue was that if you're dragging your feet, you could be overanalyzing. Dragging your feet would be hurting.
That would make sense. I've been doing that a lot this week.
And your feet are hurting more this week?
Yeah, that's interesting to look at it that way. Yeah.
Yeah. So let's look at dragging your feet and overthinking stuff. Overthinking is a lack of confidence. And it's you going, oh, but I don't know. And what if this and what if that? What if you could learn to listen to your intuition? Would that be worth it?
Yeah. And I'm usually pretty good at that, being very intuitive and going with that.
So what's getting in the way of that right now?
Maybe it's just starting all these big new things, starting a podcast, and then I'm going to be traveling in a rebuilt van in a week. So that's a very big thing. Even though it's something I'm choosing and want to do, it's a big deal. I sold my house and I'm doing this, so it's a big deal.
Have you had experience in your life when you've had a lot of big changes at the same time?
I'm trying to think. Well, maybe when we moved to a new state when I started high school.
So in general, you haven't had that experience.
Right.
So this is a brand new experience. And just like when I had everyday headaches and then didn't have headaches, and then my body said, oh no, that's not safe.
Yeah.
I'm going to give you a headache again because safe. The headache is my body going, I know this. I'm familiar with this. And so you overthinking it because you have so many moving pieces. You've never done all the moving pieces before. It's brand new. Does that make sense?
Yeah. I've traveled before, but I have not sold my house and then traveled in a rebuilt van. So I've never lived in a home on wheels.
How often in your life do you have experiences that are like, whoa, so different than what you had before?
Not often. Yeah, no.
Oh, so this is a new feeling for you. So in your hands, palms up again.
Yeah.
Stability, things you know, everything is predictable. You're comfortable. In the other hand, it's all brand new. You don't have your friends. They're not the same. They're not going to be meeting you for coffee. You've sold your house. You're going to live in a van. You don't even know where you're going. You have a general idea, but you don't really know. You don't know where your front door is per se. Which feels heavier?
The first one, the routine.
The routine feels heavier. Okay, now that's fine. I want you to take all that energy and pour it into the other hand, and all the energy and pour it into the second hand, first hand, second hand. Just keep pouring the energy back and forth. You will reach a point where it's like a sigh and it feels a little bit like a slide. And that's how you know that you've shifted the energy. Are you feeling it? Just go back and forth, back and forth. Yeah, right around there, right there.
Yeah, they feel all mixed up.
Now, weigh your hands again. What about now?
Yeah, they feel even.
Yeah.
They
Now
really do feel even. That's interesting.
Now go on the road trip in your mind. What's that feel like?
Exciting.
Okay. Is that a little bit different than it was feeling before when you were dragging your feet?
Yeah, I think before I was definitely overthinking it. And at night, like clenching my teeth more. And
I've got a great one for clenching teeth. I got a great one.
What is
There's this huge, giant cosmic toilet out in the universe. And you take all this tension that's in your teeth and you put it in the cosmic toilet and you flush it. And if you just do that a couple times, you pull it out, physically pull it out of your mouth and put it in the toilet. Pull it out. You may even want to pretend that you're taking the tension from one tooth at a time and putting it in the toilet and flushing it. One tooth at a time, flush it. The thing is that your body does not know the difference if you imagine it or if it's really happening. So imagination really does work.
All right. Well, I will definitely be trying that one.
What feels different in your mouth right now?
Left side feels better than the right side.
Okay. Take all the stuff on the right side. Cosmic toilet. And remember to flush. Pull it out of your face. Flush it down the toilet. Pull it out of your teeth. Whatever it is, cosmic toilet. And then flush. Okay. Now check in with yourself.
Yeah, that does feel lighter now. Yeah, I mean, you're right about the imagination does create a reality. I mean, I've had that happen, even creating a journey my sister and I took. It was a 2-week road trip to interview people about kindness, but it all was created during my meditation time. Like I visualized the whole thing.
Yeah.
And then it really came together very rapidly. So yeah, the mind is very powerful for sure.
Nothing can be created without it first being imagined.
For sure.
And since the mind does not know the difference between real and not real, you step into the space of it being created. And when you were meditating and you got this imagination of what your road trip would be to interview people for kindness, you've got a visceral I bet, right?
Yeah, it was a very, it conjured up a lot of emotion, like good emotion, excitement.
Yeah. So that was a very strong intuitive hit. So with your move, selling your house and moving into your house on wheels, where is that strong intuitive hit? And what would it take to open it up even more and even more than that and even more than that? So that you can create a life that is so phenomenal that you're just like tingles all over. And oh, by the way, when you're using your intuition, your feet are going to feel better.
Well, that's good to know. That'll push me more in the right direction.
Yeah.
It's interesting as I'm sitting here because my feet are on the bar of the chair. And so when they're a little bit inflamed, I can feel that. You know, it's not comfortable. But as we're talking, actually, I don't feel that right now. So that's so funny. Yeah, I'll definitely take all that to heart, everything that you've talked about.
So we talked about the cosmic toilet. We talked about the hand balancing. We talked about the magic doors. We talked about cluing in to what you're saying and how it actually affects the body. So that's how I do my work.
Do you have an example of someone that something really shifted in their life after you worked with them?
Yes. Well, first off, when my daughter was 21, she came to me and said, everything that I'm doing isn't working. The pharmaceuticals and the therapy and, blah, 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 blah. Teach me what you do. I'm like, I asked for my advice. Oh my goodness.
What every mother dreams of. Yeah.
I know. So we started weekly lunches where I would teach her a little bit. And the first thing that I taught her was gratitude. Oh, yeah, we did gratitude with you too.
Yeah.
She would do a half hour of gratitude every night. And if it was a bad day, she would do an hour of gratitude. The clue to gratitude is to feel it, not just list it.
Right.
Then life changes. She does it all day long now and is one of the happiest people I know.
So just the half hour of gratitude habit turned things around for her?
It turned things around, and then I taught her more things. And then she had a lot of abilities on her own that she just didn't know she had that we brought out. And now she does it all day long. She gets on the highway. Oh, thank you, Divine. The car in front of me put his blinker on. You know?
Yeah.
Thank you, Divine. Taylor Swift is on the radio, and we love it.
I know. It is funny how many things happen throughout a day that are little blessings.
In one of my workshops, I had this woman, and she was doing music videos, and she was working with somebody that was, big, famous, whatever. Her regular views were 200 views for a music video. I didn't know this. I was just teaching her how to do the process. 3 months later, she wrote and said her music video that she rewrote after the workshop now has 200,000 views.
Wow, that's a big jump.
Huge. We use the dream creation process. And in fact, she keeps using the process, and she now has a recording contract.
So what is the dream process you're talking about?
Oh, it's so easy. Number one is be high vibe. Set the tone every single day, all day long. If you're meditating, if you're journaling, if you're being grateful, if you're dancing, it doesn't matter what you're doing. You can look in the mirror and start laughing, and that will raise your vibe. What you're doing is trying to feel a little bit better and a little bit better and a little bit better and a little bit better. Over time, your former highs will become your current lows. So step one is be high vibe. Step two is imagine your dream. Every aspect of it. Why do you have the dream? What are the benefits of it? Who are you going to help besides yourself? What does it actually feel like? And you start teasing out all the dreams that you have. And you can work on more than one dream at a time. Then you have to literally ask the universe, I am willing to accept this. Please tell me the next step. What is it that I have to do to be on that path to getting this dream? And then you let it go. If you're still holding on to the dream, you haven't really given it to the universe to tell you what to do. And then step 4 is get ready to receive. Do whatever it is you have to do. If you have a limiting belief that's getting in your way, change your belief. If you've got to go take a class or learn something, go do that. If your intuition is telling you go take a walk, go take a walk. Do everything possible to get ready to receive your dream. And that's the whole process.
Well, that's great information to have. Quick, easy steps.
Most of your time will be spent in being high vibe and preparing to receive. Because once you've created your dream and you've let it go, that part's taken care of.
Well, I'm going to be doing all these things tonight. I'm going to be...
Oh, excellent. Something else that's really good before bed is I have a special rock next to my bed. This rock is there to remind me to review the day and to go, wow, what's the best part of today? Wow, well, that was good and that was good. Oh, the best part was talking with Marla Miller. That was great.
That was the best part of my day, talking to Judith. I know, it is so interesting. There are so many great parts to any given day that people sometimes overlook. Yeah. I like that reminder of having a rock or a solid object that you can remind yourself to be grateful. Right. I think that's a good idea. Well, I appreciate you giving all of this insight and ways that people can raise their vibe and create more for themselves just by doing that.
I want to help so many people raise their vibe. The world will be so much better, and everybody can have a life that they choose instead of one that's forced upon them.
That's what we'll strive for after listening to you here.
Excellent.
Thank you. And I'll say thank you from the listeners for presenting a whole new way of looking at life.
And thank you so much for the opportunity to talk with you.
Be sure and follow Open-Minded Healing so you'll get every new episode as soon as it's released each Tuesday. You can listen on Apple Podcasts, Spotify, and wherever you get your podcasts.